Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about This Is Us, Season 5, Episode 5. I'm going back to 505. So it's been 2 months since the last episode, so like those old videos, I'm going to be talking about this episode in terms of like chronological order. So I guess the earliest in the timeline would be the scenes with 18-year-old Kate. So after she learns that she's pregnant, she gets an abortion, and she she initially wants to like tell her ex-boyfriend about it, Mark, because he's the dad. But she decides not to, and she visits him, and he's like acting all weird and creepy. And this guy seems like very manic. He seems like an absolute nutcase. So I'm kind of glad she ran out of there. And so yes, he basically goes through with the termination, and she doesn't tell her mom. And it's kind of obvious that Rebecca could tell that there's something wrong with Kate, but Kate doesn't say anything. So I don't know. She didn't tell her mom because I guess she was nervous, and she kind of carries that weight with her throughout her entire adult life. And in the present, she has to stop carrying that weight. So to see and Toby go to San Diego and to confront Mark when he's an adult. And she kind of tells him, like, hey, you kind of ruined my life. And she kind of goes off on him. And I thought it was a good scene. If it, I mean, I felt like the dialogue was a bit cringe, but I knew what they were going for. So I could respect that. But something I got to say about this episode is I really liked the acting of Toby. Whoever plays Toby, he does a great job acting. And just the little expressions on his face when Kate told him about the abortion or when she told him about that abusive relationship, just his way of reacting to it was very good. Like, he was surprised, he was upset that she didn't tell him about it earlier. It's just the little mannerisms he does is very good. So great job, Chris Sullivan. I feel like he was the performance of the week. I felt like he kind of carried this episode, or at least his performance in it did. So meanwhile, we have Kevin and Madison, and he's kind of conflicted because on one hand he wants to stay with Madison while she's pregnant, but on the other hand he wants to film a movie in Vancouver. And Madison's like, well, you said you'd stay with me and the babies. And he's like, but I gotta film this movie and follow his dreams. So he never really picks a side at the end of the episode, but he calls Randall for advice because he knows that even though him and Randall, the relationship isn't perfect, he knows that they could always count on each other. And I think that was a nice scene at the end to kind of show that maybe the relationship could heal. I just really want that to happen because I feel like they've been through enough shit and life is short and they only have each other after all, you know? Now, speaking of Randall, he gets a letter from the Vietnamese man who we now know is named Hai, and he tells him that his mom is named Lowell and that she lived after when Randall thought she died, and she actually died in 2015. And Randall is kind of startled and shook up by this, so he decides to call his therapist about it. And his therapist tells him to call the Vietnamese man back. So Randall calls Hai, and Hai wants to meet up with Randall and talk about Randall's mom. So that's what Randall and Beth are gonna do next episode, probably. And throughout this whole plot line, Randall's worried that William lied to him, and he kind of has trust issues. But at the end, he finds out that William didn't know that his mom was alive. So it's just kind of nice that William wasn't a liar. Though kind of raises a couple questions, like one, why didn't William's wife ever tell him she was alive? Two, why didn't William's wife tell Randall she was alive, or at least try to be part of his life? That's some questions I need answered. And yeah, that's pretty much the episode. I really much enjoyed this. I felt like This and the last episode were pretty good, decent episodes. A lot less political and a lot less COVID heavy. So I enjoyed that. So I'm going to give this a B. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this episode, and I'll see you next week to talk about episode 506. Hope everybody out there has a nice day and stay safe and peace.